everybody. Welcome to this special screening of the Yes Men Fix the World. At the moment, you're going under Andy and you're going under Mike, right?
Right. You got us there, yep.
Gotcha. But they're not their real names, obviously. Tell us who you are and tell us about your film.
Well, we impersonate corporations and we speak at big conferences in the name of the corporations in order to bring attention to the misdeeds of the corporations and of the market in general.
Mike?
We started making this movie about 4 years ago when we got an invitation from the BBC to appear on the 20th anniversary of the Bhopal catastrophe and to make a statement. And that's kind of became the beginning of a long journey where we explored really what Dow's motivations were as a company and in general what could happen if we keep letting the market lead us as a civilization. In 1984, when Union Carbide's pesticide plant at Bhopal exploded, at least 5,000 people died within weeks. It was the biggest industrial disaster in history.
When Dow Chemical bought Union Carbide in 2001, they promised fair compensation for Carbide's past negligence.
But we knew they wouldn't, so we decided to do it for them.
After the Yes Men set up a fake website pretending to be official Dow representatives, they were contacted by BBC News.
Joining us live from Paris now is Jude Finisterra.
And invited to make a statement on behalf of Dow on live TV.
For the first time, Dow is accepting full responsibility for the Bhopal catastrophe.
The effect of this announcement was a $2 billion drop in Dow's market value in just 23 minutes. But this wasn't the first time the duplicitous duo created media shockwaves.
Louisiana officials are taken for a ride by the Yes Men.
The Yes Men?
World-renowned troublemakers.
Sick, twisted, cruel.
We target people we see as criminals, and we steal their identity to try to make them honest, or to try to present a more honest face.
In their first film, the pair posed as spokesmen for the WTO, launching a new device for exploitative employers to monitor sweatshop workers. And they extolled the virtues of recycling human waste on behalf of McDonald's as a solution to food shortages in developing nations. In the Yes Men Fix the World, they impersonate Halliburton reps, pitching the paranoid elite a new product to survive calamities.
Defense mechanisms being provisioned against biological, chemical, radiological attack.
If you could demonstrate the turtle position, please, that would be great.
And then, in post-Katrina New Orleans, they pose as Washington bureaucrats, telling displaced public housing residents they could finally return home.
This afternoon, we will begin to reopen all public housing projects in New Orleans.
And that private developers would not be grabbing their properties. And finally, the pranksters turn publishers and decide to write the headlines themselves, blanketing Manhattan with a utopian version of the New York Times dated 6 months into the future.
Extra, extra, read all about it. The New York Times declares the war in Iraq is over.
Is this real? This is too good to be true. But it's not impossible.
When I watch your film, at the very end of it, it's so full of optimism that people do want to fix the world, that you're certainly not alone.
I think that what that final gesture the New York Times project does is it just helps us imagine how easy it could be to fix the world.
If these are the headlines that people were so excited to read this morning, let's make them happen.
The story throughout that paper is that the only way these things will happen is through the pressure of people like all of us.
Is this more about you two, this celebritization of activism?
This is a movie in which the two of us fix the world.
I mean, we're trying to get the word out there through the medium of television and movies. And to do that, it has to be funny.
We're on our way to a conference, and Erastus Ham is going to be speaking.
When you have an audience who believes that you are who you say you are, they actually suspend your disbelief.
My name is Hannaford Schmidt. I'm with the World Trade Organization. I'm from Arizona.
My name is Francisco Guerrero.
And also, the character is so simple. It's just some bumbling PR flack who, we can all do it.
Well, joining us live from Paris now is Jude Finisterra. He's a spokesman for Dow Chemical.
You probably recognised Stephen Cole, one of the faces of Al Jazeera, who was working for BBC at the time.
Do you now accept responsibility for what happened?
Steve, yes.
It's not usual when you say to somebody, do you accept responsibility, that they say yes.
Today is a great day for all of us at Dow, and I think for millions of people around the world as well.
And Stephen says it threw him off.
Just to reiterate what Jude Finisterra, the spokesman for Dow Chemicals, has just said, he says Dow Chemicals now fully accept responsibility.
He believes that, if anything, the story was hijacked and it became a story about a hoax on the BBC versus what Dow's responsibilities should have been.
In some ways, that was the case in the UK, but it wasn't the case in the United States. The UK was doing a tremendous job. It was on the news almost every night for a week. In the US, there were no stories, zero. And Dow is, of course, headquartered in the United States. So I think Stephen is probably right about the UK, where a lot of people just saw it as a story about the prank.
Whereas in the US, they had to spend most of the article explaining what Bhopal was, Dow was, Union Carbide were, and couldn't get to the false hopes, I think.
Jude, that's good news that you have finally accepted responsibility. Some people would say too late.
It shouldn't be seen as a big mistake by the BBC. It really shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, after 1 hour, millions of people learned about Bhopal and learned about Dow and Union Carbide.
It was incredibly telling that Dow didn't take any action against you, wasn't it?
I mean, I think that any more attention that Dow would get from attacking us would be negative attention for them, because, you know, all you have to do is see a kid drinking that poison water, and then you say, like, what is going on here? Why aren't they cleaning this up?
Communities that you see in red have not gotten a single drop of clean water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 8 communities are getting about 12% of the requirement.
Do you think that news media could accept a greater responsibility in questioning those institutions that you guys are bringing to the attention?
In the case of the New Orleans media, you see a reporter from New Orleans television going up to a former resident of a housing project, Lafitte Housing Project, and saying, "So do you know this is a big hoax?" And the woman looks right at the camera person and says,
"I respect this hoax because maybe it'll take a hoax like this to bring them out here to see what we're going through."
And yet she reports that the victims had false hopes. So she knew what she was going to report on, and the evidence didn't matter.
So it's a hoax what it be, a hoax is what we got. And I ain't mad, I'm going to eat some barbecue.
How effective would you say your approach to exposing these injustices is?
Unfortunately, the housing projects were destroyed. All we can do is contribute to a movement, and we can't expect each little thing that we do to result in concrete change. But overall, we do have hope.
CTV News.
Good evening. A bizarre situation today at the Go Expo Energy Conference at Stampede Park.
Organizers and hundreds of Alberta oil and gas executives got duped.
This is where you create the alternate biofuel by using human flesh.
Our friend Reggie.
He's really cute. Shame that he's so sick. Is he all right?
Was
so sick.
It was time to introduce Reggie Watts, the dying Exxon janitor who had volunteered to be turned into fuel.
I think I'd like to be a candle. There's just so many uses for a candle. I mean, you know, like if you want something romantic, like that'd be nice to know I was a candle on table.
I can't fathom that anybody is sitting there and not just saying, who are these clowns?
What you see here is an artist's rendition of an advanced large-scale plant.
It's obviously one of your great tactics employs is to have ridiculous animation. I mean, when you see the body go through something like out of a Pink Floyd music video being minced as the alternate, fossil fuel of the future.
With greater supply, the dance of capital appears in full flower.
I was just wondering what type of repercussions you've experienced because of the film.
I mean, the worst that could happen is that the security takes us away. Apparently, we're not allowed to have a funerary observance for a man who's died to make a product possible. And they don't really know what to do about it because they think, well, what if? It's always there in the back of their mind. What if I really have taken this person who's really from Exxon to this holding room and I'm basically like holding them against their will? What's going to happen to me?
What are your credentials with ExxonMobil? What is it? What part of his body is it?
Please, sure.
Let's talk about the use of humour here in political activism. You're convinced that this is the best way to do it?
No.
No. See, you're pranking now, yeah?
No. We hope to be cheerleaders and to, try to get the message across as best we can, but it's you can't say it's the best thing to do. It's just what we are good at.
How many of you are there?
We have hundreds of thousands of job openings at the Yes Men. If you go to www.theyesmen.org/join, you can sign up on our database, and we will send you email if there is something in your area that we think is worth doing or that we're planning.
Anybody want to be a yes man or yes woman?
Yes!
Could we please thank Andy and Mike, let's call them today, for bringing the Yes Men Fix the World.
Okay, I'm on the phone with HUD right now, and they say you're a liar.
Okay, well, they can say whatever they want.
I'm sorry?
They can say whatever they'd like.
They can say whatever they'd like, but you work for them, don't you, as a deputy secretary?
That's right. I'm Amanda Palmer. This is the Fabulous Picture Show, and welcome back.
I'm Amanda Palmer.
Sorry, he's Amanda Palmer.
This is not funny. I don't think this is funny at all. I'm Amanda Palmer. This is the end of the Fabulous Picture Show, and you two are never coming back.
Oh,
you are just too badly behaved. What's the next hoax?
It's too big to tell you about, but it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening?
It's all around you, yes.
It's happening near you. If you want to get involved, you know where to go, the website.
Theyesmen.org. And
basically, you two have got to learn to behave a little bit, huh? You're not like this at home, are you?
/join.
I'm not going to bring up spankings.
Okay.
I know that's what you're after.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this film and why?
I'll definitely rate this film a 9, a very high 9.
I found it hilarious. I thought it was really amusing and it dealt with very serious issues.
What the film proves and what it proves to me is that there's actually just a simple formula, and it's just about questioning the authorities that we take for granted.